Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the Joomla 2.5 template series. What we did in part 1 is just set up the content on the default Joomla installation. If you look at the design that we're going to be creating, or the template we're going to be creating, we have a menu, we have two right side modules, we have a footer right and a footer left module, and then we have a main image module. And what we did was we went in and created the modules. We have the footer menu, which we created a main menu and then just copied it. You can see it has all the links. We just copied it to another menu called footer menu, which we got to get rid of all these twos. But if you just want to create these modules, if you didn't see the first part of the series, the login form doesn't really matter. We don't have that on our new template, nor the breadcrumbs. So we have the main image, and then we have the two right modules. So if you want to just create those, if you didn't see the first part, I'll go back and watch the first part. So now we're going to get into actually creating the template. So what I'm going to do is create a new folder on my desktop. I'm going to call it Business Design. And this is going to be the folder that holds all our template files. So the first thing I'll do is go to the static HTML template, and I'm going to put the files for this in my description. Hopefully, if I don't forget. If I do forget, just leave a comment and I'll do that. So what I want to do is grab both the CSS and the images folder. I'm going to copy and put it into the Joomla template. So the images, we just have the logo, the big image, and then the background image, and we have one CSS file. So it's a very minimal template. We're going to add an index.html, but it's not going to be the one with all this content. It's just pretty much going to be a blank file, just so people can't access the template directly through the browser. So if we have an index.html file, it stops them from doing that. The next thing we need is we need an index.php file, which I'll get to in a second, but I'll just create it now. And we also need, every template needs a template details XML file. So we want to create a new, template details.xml. And this will have all the author info, all the metadata that goes with the template. And I think I do want to create a Favicon, so we can do that with Dynamic Drive has a really good tool to generate a Favicon, which is the little icon in the browser. So if we just want to choose the file, I'm just going to choose the logo and create the icon. So we have this nice little logo that will show in our browser window. So I want to download that. I'm going to download it to just the folder, the template folder. Where is it? Alright, so now we have the Favicon. So that should be good for our files. What we need to do now is add some content to this XML file. Get rid of that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually drag in or paste in some content from a default file that I use when I create my templates. So let me go grab that. Extension, no, sorry, I forget where I put things sometimes. And we want this. I'll open it with Notepad++ and just copy this. Alright, so we have the XML declaration Doctype. It's version 2.5, the Joomla version. It's going to be a template for the site client, not the administrator. And we can add a name here. I'm going to change that just to Business Design. and you can add your author info, your name, email, URL, copyright, whatever. And then here's the description that'll show after we install it. I'll just say this is the business design template. And here we have to list all folders and files that are going to be in our root directory, our root template directory, which is right here. Let me shorten this a little. So we don't have an HTML folder. An HTML folder would be used for overrides if you want to override your component or module layouts, and we're not going to do that. Usually I'd have a blank HTML folder, but if we do that, we're going to get an error on installation. So I'm going to get rid of that for now. CSS folder, images folder. We don't have a JavaScript folder. This template has no JavaScript, so no need for it. We have these template previews. If you wanted to, you could create a template preview.png and a template thumbnail.png, and this just shows in the back in the template manager, but we're not going to use that for this template. We're also not going to use error or component. So that's good for that. Now we have to declare all the module positions we're going to have. So we're going to have a right. If we look at the template that we're creating, we're going to have a right, a menu module. I'll call this a showcase, the big image, and then footer right and footer left. So let's do that. Let's say menu, showcase, and then footer right and footer left. So that should be good. Okay, save that, and I think that should do it. Yeah. Alright, so that's it for the XML file. Now what we need to do is create the index.php file. So this is the main page of the template. This is where you define all the entire structure, as well as the head and the body tags. I'm going to actually get the original HTML file that came with the static template. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab everything in this index HTML file, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it into the index.php file. And we're going to work off of this. And the first thing, the head, the whole head, the Doctype and the head is going to be all replaced. So what I'm going to do is actually get rid of that. And I'm going to paste in a couple things. First, I'm going to paste in just the comment block, PHP comment block that just has the name of the template and then your copyright info. And then under that, we need this line. All templates should have this line in their index.php. It just makes it so that the user can't access your template through the browser. They actually have to go through the Joomla site. So this is a very important security measure. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to add is the Doctype. And I'm going to put it right below that. And it's just giving us the XML version 1.0 and the HTML Doctype. This template's actually going to be an XHTML 1.0 standard. You might be doing HTML5, that's fine too if you just want to have just the Doctype, and then you wouldn't have this part for the XHTML. And then we have the XML NS with the HTML tag. So this is the opening HTML tag, and I'm sure you know at least some HTML basics. We have the HTML tag, then the head tag, then the body tag. So that's for the Doctype. Now we want to add the head, head part of the template, which opens with head and closes with head. And what we have here is a JDoc include statement, and this is what outputs all our header information, all our meta tags, stuff like that. It goes through Joomla and it gets outputted right here. We do have to define our CSS files or any JavaScript files if we wanted to include those with our template. So what we have here is just a simple link to our style.css file, which has all our styling information. And we do have some dynamic variables here. You can see when we're pointing to the style sheet, we use this this base URL. This is a variable that'll point us to whatever the URL of the current site is. So we don't have to hard code it or anything like that. Same thing with here, we have this template. This template just points to whatever the name of this template is, and then points to the CSS folder and then to the style sheet. So that's all we need for the head. If we go down here, the body, the styling, all the divs, everything's going to stay the same as far as the layout and the div tags. What we need to change is the actual content. We need to add in our module positions, and we need to add our main call for our component. So what we're going to do, we have this static navigation here. We actually set up the menu structure in the Joomla backend. Let's go back. Yeah, we're going to have to log back in here. So we have our menus. We have a main menu and a footer menu, which have links, and every menu is a module. So if we go to Module Manager, we have the main menu here, and it's in, well, it's in the position 7 here, but these positions are for the default template, and we want to actually change these positions. Our main menu, the position we're going to give it is just menu. So I'm going to get rid of that. And if you remember in the XML file, the template details.xml, that's where we defined all these positions. So let's save that. Let's actually check and see if these are all in the right position. Footer menu will be on the footer left, footer right, right. Alright, so everything's good. Login form we're not using, so that doesn't really matter. So now we know that our main menu is in the menu position. So let's go back to our template and actually just get rid of this unordered list, and I'm going to type in a JDoc. It's going to be JDoc include, and this is how we insert our dynamic code. We can insert module positions, a component, as well as messages. And you saw here we did the head. So JDoc include, it just outputs certain aspects of the template that we need. So here we want to do J include, and they all have a type, and the type we want here is modules. Alright, so the next attribute we need is a name, and the name is just a position. So like I said, our main menu is in the menu position. And then the last attribute we have is style, which we're going to have as none. Now if you want to have a heading showing in your module, then you could use the style XHTML right here, and it would output the actual heading. If you use none, it's just going to print out the module content, not the heading. So now if we save that, I'm actually going to build out the whole template before we install it. So let's just get through this real quick. Here we have the main div with the main content, and this is all, we pasted this all in one Joomla article. If we go to Article Manager, we have the home page, and if we view the source, you can see we have the H1 tag, and we have up until the enjoy the design. So that's what we have right here, and that's what we want to get rid of. And the main component will also be outputted using JDoc. I'm sorry, I can't type today. I don't know what's going on here. Alright, so include, and we're going to have the type, except this time it's going to be component. And you'll only have one of these per template. Alright, so that looks good. So next we have the right module position, which here is going to be the news section. And we're not going to have, let's copy this here, this module call, and place it in the news div, except this is going to be right, because that's going to be the position. And we want, you know what, we'll actually keep the none. I'm going to actually include the heading in the module content, so we can leave this to none. Now, we're not going to have two of these. We do have two right modules, but we're not going to have two of these. We only need to declare this once, and every module that's assigned to the right position will just come one after another. You don't have to have two of these because we're going to have two right modules, if that makes any sense. And if we go back to Module Manager, we have Module Manager. We have our two right position. We have the copyright, and then we have the other info. So if we go back to our design, you can see those right here. Now there is one tricky part of this template, is that each block on the right is assigned a class called news item. Now if we just stick div class news item over this one position, it's just going to have that main div, and then all the right modules will be in between it. But we need this for each call, each module. So what we need to do is give it a module class suffix. So we'll go to the copyright module, and what I want to do is click on advanced and then add a suffix here. So I'm actually just going to take that. I'm going to take this news item class, and I'm going to put it's going to be an underscore and then the news item, and I'll show you why I did the underscore in a few minutes. So let's save that, and we also want to do it to the other right module. Whenever we want to apply that design, that yellow boxing, we have to add this class suffix. Alright, so now we can get rid of this. Now what else do we have? We have the footer left and the footer right. If we go to our module manager, the footer menu is in the footer left position. So let's copy this module's output, and we're going to replace the entire unordered list, and this is going to be footer right. And now we want to, let's check out the credit module, which is the footer right, and we have the entire span, so that's what we're going to replace. And this is going to be footer left. Footer left. So that's it. We've taken the static HTML layout and applied all the dynamic elements to it to make it a functional Joomla template. And you can see it's actually shrunk a lot in size, because we, instead of having the static content, we just have these one line calls to different dynamic aspects of the website. So I'm going to save that. Now it seems like I think we have everything done we need. We have our CSS images. Let's just check the XML file and make sure we have everything. Favicon, XML, PHP. Alright, so that looks good. We have our positions here. Oh, the showcase, that's what we forgot to do. Now in this particular template, let me just go back and show you here. This image here isn't an inline image, it's actually a background image. And it's the background image, it's using the header div. So what we did in the first part of it, we actually created a module. If we can go back here, and where is it? Main image, this main image module. We just put the div in here, and the image will actually replace the div. Well, not replace it, but it's the background image assigned to this div. So I'm actually going to copy this module statement and replace the div here, and this is going to be the header position. So if we go here, you can see we chose the header position. Alright, so now it looks complete. So what we want to do is actually grab all this and wrap it up in a zip file. I use WinRAR, but you can use whatever you feel like. So now we have our zip file. Now this should just be able to simply install using the extension manager. So we just want to navigate to that zip file and upload. So it was installed successfully. Now what we want to do is go to Template Manager, and we want to select the business design. I don't know why all of these are here like this. Let's see. You know what? I did install it before, and I guess for some reason it didn't uninstall. Let's actually go. Let's uninstall these first, because I'm not sure which one is the right one. So I'm going to go to Manage, Extension Manager, Manage. And select Type, Template, and I'm going to uninstall both of these, Business Design, and then go back to Extension Manager, and I'm going to upload it again. And you most likely won't have to do this unless you installed it before. So that looks good. So now go to Template Manager, and I'm going to select Business Design, and I'm going to select Make Default. So now if we go back and reload our front end, you can see we have some styling issues, but overall the layouts there, the contents there, what we need to do is take care of these right modules and make them look like this. And now I'll show you why I added that underscore. I'm going to use the Google Web Tools to view the source of these modules, and you can see the div applied to each one is custom underscore news item. Now this, what Joomla is doing is adding this custom before whatever we had for the class suffixes. So our actual div is called custom underscore news item. So what we need to do is just edit the CSS file and change news item to custom underscore news item, and then the styling should show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to edit and reinstall the template. I'm going to edit the actual template that's being used. So I'm going to my Joomla installation, I'm going to Templates, Business Design, and I'm going to go to the CSS file. And obviously if you're using a live site, you want to do this through FTP or SSH or whatever it is you access your site files with. So where it says news item, I'm just going to add custom underscore right there and right here. So now that styling should show up. So if I save that, close that out, and if we go back to the site and reload, now we have our styled right modules. And the only other difference I see is the menu in the original template is all caps. I don't like to hard code capitalized letters in templates, so what I want to do is just add a CSS property that will turn that will make them all uppercase. So I'm going to go back into that custom CSS, style CSS, and I'm going to, in the navigation, we're going to add a text transform property, and we want to do uppercase. Save that, go back, reload, and now it's all uppercase. So well, one thing I do see down here is we have all these twos, and this is also the design by Site Creative. The footer right module is a little off. Let's go to the footer menu and actually delete a few of these links. Reload. Alright, so something is putting that off. I'm going to go check I'm going to get out of all this, and I'm going to go to the actual template that's on my site, business design, index PHP. So we have footer left, footer right. If we go back to the module manager and footer right, I'm not sure why that's off. Oh. Okay. Joomla actually adds a class menu to each menu, and it's going all the way over. As you can see, as I highlight over it, you can see that it's going all the way over. What we want to do here, I'm just going to shorten that up a little. So what I'm going to do is go back to the CSS file, and I'm going to add in the UL menu, UL with a class of menu, and I'm going to say width 60%, and we'll float that. I'm going to float the menu to the left. Alright. So I'm going to save that. I'm actually going to go back to index.php, and since we're going to be floating the footer left position, I'm actually going to add in a clear, just a div style clear both, just so that so that float clears. So save and go back and reload. And now the footer right is now in place. So everything looks good. Oh, well, you see what happened. The actual main menu also went to 60%. So when something like that happens, you can add a menu class. So if I go back to footer, my footer menu, in the advanced options, I'm going to add a menu class of footer menu. So now if we go back and reload and open up the web tools, you can see now we have a UL class, well, menu footer menu. So I'm actually going to change that. I'm just going to change it to _footer. So now if we go and check that out again, so now it's a UL class menu footer. So now we just need to go to the CSS and change this to menu footer. If we save that and reload, now our top menu's back, and we still have the right footer in place. Alright, so we're just about done. Let's see, let's visit the About Us page. Yep, so you can see the image is now gone off the inner pages. So the home page is the only page that has the main image, because if you remember in the first part of this, when we created the main image module, we made sure that we only clicked home. So if you wanted it on the About page, you could just select the About Us and then go back and reload, and the image will be there. So you can choose what pages you want, which modules. So I think that's it. It looks pretty much identical aside from the twos in the footer menu, but that's no big deal. Just go in the menu manager and delete them. So that's it for making a Joomla 2.5 template. If you guys could subscribe, I'd really appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.